Greetings, humans. Just when you thought it was safe to watch another movie review video, comes my review of Jaws 2. The movie starts off with two scuba divers messing around by what looks like the boat that sank at the end of the first film. They get gobbled up as one of them takes a picture before his demise of the shark. The next scene cuts to Sheriff Brody going to a scholarship fundraiser where they introduce a bunch of kids that I didn't care about. A few scenes later, they depict a teenager parasailing and bobbing in and out of the water with jaws ready to strike. This scene kind of reminded me of a reverse of the human tradition of bobbing for apples, with the shark under the water ready to eat the bobbing human prey. But nothing happens. However, in the next scene, our fishy friend spots a girl water skiing. Lunchtime. And all they find is her water ski. Then Jaws attacks the boat. The driver freaks out, pouring gas all over the place and all over herself. She lights a flare or something that catches her, the shark, and everything on fire as the boat explodes. Continuing on with the story, a couple of teenagers find what looks like one of Shamu's cousins washed up on the beach after being attacked by something. Now Brody sees this, and he immediately wants to accuse a shark of doing it. Pretty much it sounds like a frame job to me. Now the sensible mayor tells Brody not to jump to conclusions and that he has no proof of a shark attack. Now if I was ever in court on trial, I would want this mayor guy to be my lawyer. At this point, our friend the sheriff looks like he's completely lost his mind. He sees a chateau in the water at the beach and madly calls for everybody to get out of the water as he starts firing at the apparent shark, which turns out to be a school of bluefish. Then someone develops the photo that the scuba diver took at the beginning of the movie with his now recovered camera. The pic looks like it could be a shark, but the mayor and his council don't believe Brody's interpretation of this. The sheriff's son then decides to take his boat out in the water despite his father's warning of sharks being out there. Meanwhile, we find out that Brody was fired, and he doesn't seem to take it too well. Or maybe he just celebrates his job loss a little too much, one of the two. Now while Brody sleeps off his little celebration, both his kids decide to go off and sail in those shark-infested waters. We next see the teenagers of the town scuba diving, and Jaws appears with some cool-looking scars from the boat explosion. Eventually the shark eats another kid, but much like in the first movie, I noticed that we have seen very little of the shark up to this point. The John Williams score seems to take the place in the movie of a more visual representation of Jaws. Of course, no sooner do I notice this than we start seeing plenty more of the shark late in the movie, trying to eat all the delicious teenagers. Once again, I really didn't like how this movie ended, much like the first one. Now, many humans might say that Jaws 2 really wasn't as good as the first one, that it missed the marine biologist and salty seaman characters as it tried to focus more on the character of Sheriff Brody. But I say it starred a shark, so it gets a thumbs up in my book. And honestly, Jaws would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those pesky meddling kids and their pesky meddling sheriff of theirs. Oh well, it's time for me to take a swim. Anyone care to join me?